Shall I say it?
Hey guys, welcome back to SUP.
It's been a while. Hope everyone's keeping all good and okay out there. We've been really busy. This man has been extremely busy doing various things, and one of those things is what we're going to chat about this evening.
Yeah.
And that is the Great Glen Challenge, as they say in Francais.
En français.
Yeah, so how was it? You went to Scotland a couple of weeks ago, last week?
Yeah, last weekend. It was awesome. The whole thing's brilliant. I think I've got to start by just like setting the scene and saying exactly what it is. So the Great Glen Challenge is an ultra paddle, is what they call it, just because of the distance. So the distance is 94 kilometres, 94. And it is from Fort William, so from Neptune Staircase in Fort William up to Inverness. So you go across the Great Glen Caledonian Canal and across the locks within that. You can do it, the event is set up so it's structured, you can do it as a 2-day thing, so it's sort of split in half, Fort William to Fort Augustus on day 1, and then day 2 you do Fort Augustus, basically across Loch Ness up to Inverness. Or you can do it as I did it this weekend, just gone as a non-stop. And it's just awesome. Like, it's what a beautiful place. Great setup for that sort of event. And I'm just going to start by just shouting out to Joanne Hamilton Vale, who set it up 8-9 years ago. And she's been running it every year since. This year, over the past year, she's moved to Australia, so she sort of passed the baton on, and we're awaiting news in the coming week or so on the sort of team that will take that on so that it remains a regular sort of calendared event. It's just a really great feeling, really great vibes, everyone's there, super supportive. It's just awesome. Can't speak highly enough of it from that perspective. Kelvin, the guy who took on the sort of lead organiser this year, again, just awesome. Just if you get a chance, book yourself on it for next year and get over and do it, which
cool.
We'll talk about later.
Cool. Well, a couple of questions that everyone's been asking about.
Why were you so slow?
No, everyone knows why.
That's what I've been asking myself all week.
Right. I think Ian's been extremely harsh on himself. But some of the guys have been asking questions, like some of the people have been coming out having lessons, also some of the instructors as well. So I was going to shoot a couple of questions.
Cool. Oh, I like this. This is like in the dark. Ooh.
I know, it's good, isn't it? So, number 1.
Yeah.
What were you wearing?
So I had my little Hoob tri-suit on underneath, which I tend to wear just all year round. It can be a base layer during winter, but during summer it's effectively what I wear. Wore a pair of shorts over the top, and then I had a Rip Curl rash vest on, and then over the top of that I was wearing an orange t-shirt which was provided by the event. So it's a Great Glen t-shirt, and so this year they used the shirts for the volunteers to like understand who's on the 2-day versus who's on the non-stop.
So colour-coded.
Yeah, so all the non-stops were in an orange t-shirt, and all the 2-dayers were in a yellow t-shirt. Was
that including like the kayakers and the ski canoes?
Yeah, absolutely every. So like you can do it there's loads of different categories. So there's kayaks, K1s, skis, hardboard, SUP, inflatable SUP. There's all these. You can basically if you've got a paddle in your hands, you can do it effectively. There was a guy in a couple of open canoes. Yeah, so that's what I was wearing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Nutrition. And what did you take with you on the board?
Okay. So this is one of the many errors I made. So
Kebab, is that true?
that is true.
It's in a kebab. Paddleboarding.
No, I like as my pre-paddle night before meal, I had a kebab. Yeah. So no, where do I start? So with nutrition,
Start off with the kebab.
start with the
Tell the lovely viewers, what were you thinking about a kebab?
So basically, I got the ferry across to Scotland on the Friday morning and then drove up Scotland that day to be at the night before briefing, which you had to be at to complete your registration, get your tracker, get your T-shirt, just sign your life away. And so I went to, so I'd sort of been driving all day across Scotland. I'll tell you what, one bit of thing I learned, if you want to go anywhere in Scotland, right, give yourself a bucket load more time than Google Maps actually says you need, because there's basically 1-lane roads going everywhere. So, like, you just need one person to be on the go slow, or one accident, or one, like, roadworks, or a farmer, and you're an hour late.
Screwed.
All right, so I was, like, the minute we got off the ferry, I was in a queue for 50 minutes. And so then I was, like, I had a 5.5 hour drive ahead of me and was on the whole, like, I just need to get there. I managed to get there in time, made the registration and all that sort of stuff. But what also sort of overlays this, some weird story, that my mum happened to be up at a wedding in Scotland the weekend before, and her and her friend after that wedding hired a motorhome and were just driving around Scotland. So they, like, we met for dinner that night basically, and we went to this restaurant and I chose a kebab just because that looked good.
In the restaurant?
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
It's not so bad, you know.
Was it a restaurant or was it a kebab house?
No, it was a restaurant, but it was a kebab.
So it wasn't like a doner kebab at the side.
Well,
of the road
it had all the components of the doner kebab, just presented more
on a plate.
appropriately on a plate, which I just lashed in and, you know,
Awesome.
get involved. Yeah.
So that was the meal.
That was the meal the night
Night
before.
before.
And then, to be honest, again, partly because just terrible organisation. The week before, I was just chasing my tail with work and everything, and just hadn't really prepped. So, like, the idea would have been that it's funny, my wife is, you know, a professional nutritionist, you know. It would be, and it was like I had asked her, that I'd sort of said to her that, you know, what should I have and what should I do, and she did give me a list of all those things, and I just didn't get the list. Like, I didn't go out to the shops, I didn't order anything, and then so I found myself driving up through Scotland thinking, God, I've got to stop and get, like, my food for tomorrow. And then it was getting closer and closer to, like, getting to Fort Augustus where I needed to be for this registration, but it was tight on time, and so it wasn't like I could stop at, I don't know, and I ended up stopping just because it was, like, right on the main road at one of these big M&S, like, retail things. I was like, that will have the stuff I need. But I walked out of it with, like, a bucket of flapjacks, a bag of Percy pigs, and a bunch of bananas, and Dan's had said to me, I'll get isotonic drinks because you'll need as much water, but you'll also, there's something apparently that works in them. I don't know. So I was like, okay, sure. So, you know, I've got my Percy pigs, my flapjacks, my bananas, and I brought a couple of sandwiches for, like, breakfast in the morning. And then I grabbed a bunch of bottles of water, and they didn't have any like isotonic drinks. So, but what they did have was traditional Scottish iron brew. So I grabbed a few of those because they, in my head, must do something similar, right? So there off I go to paddle 94k. Me and my mum and my dad with a bottle of iron brew.
Amazing.
So I was nutritionally, I was top of my A game. On it. So yeah, epic fail on the whole nutrition thing, and then just also like the way I implemented that in the actual event itself. So the way they organise it is that there are like 4 or 5 checkpoints along the way where you can, at the start, you can leave like a bag, and in that bag you can have stuff, like it might be a change of clothes if you're worried that in one of the locks you might go in, so that come the end of that lock you could have a quick change or something like that.
And do they drop it off there for you?
And then they take it, the volunteers for each of those stations take it there and then take it back to event HQ after the race. So I was one of the, like there were a few people who drop in like the odd bottle or something here or there, but I was the only one that like dropped a full on bag of like 3 of the things, because my attitude, wrongly, was I just don't want to carry anything on the board. Part of that was like my board choice, like it was not the most comfortable of boards that I chose, and so having a lumpy bag on the front wasn't going to help me with that. And also it just didn't have bungees or anything like that, so just from a like basic practical sense where I'd like rush it, do you know, like it's just awful. So all I had was like this little man bag which I like to paddle around with, because it's like, it's bare minimal stuff. So I've got, you'll love this. You'll love this. So I've got each bag set up so it's like a possible change of clothes if needed in each one. But then the rest of it is I've just sort of split the flapjacks amongst the bag. I had like a bag of Percy pigs in each one. A couple of bananas in each one. And some bottles of water and iron brew, right? And so the idea was that at each pit stop I'd just go and change, like I'd have a bottle of water and a bottle of iron brew and some flapjacks and stuff in here for as I'm going along. And then I'd obviously drink them for each stage and then just refill at each stop. And basically, not only was that plan rubbish, it just set me up for a major fail. So
I'm just thinking of someone stumbling upon your really odd bag whilst hiking through the Highlands. Oh, some Percy pigs.
Well, if you're falling apart, Percy Pig's always going to pick you up, eh?
Very potentially.
It was just that my nutrition strategy was pretty good. So executed.
So could do better.
Amazing.
And how were the people? One thing, like one of the big questions, not big questions, but what everyone's asking, because a lot of people kind of half know nutrition-ish kind of thing, and people have asked the question or I've looked into it. But one of the things I was interested in is the dynamic between yourself, or just like the paddlers, because it seemed to like be a really good group of people. And like one of the videos that you put up the next day was everyone, kind of giving their support to whoever day 2 were, whatever that was, and they seemed to like have a really good spirit and like kind of bonding.
It's a great vibe.
What was that like on the water? Like on shore you're going to know, but on the water was there? Or did things get a little bit heated?
No. Definitely, there's no heated at all. I'm just laughing because, like, I think it was you who said to me the other day, like, we were talking about the guy that won it from the stand-up paddleboard category. Yeah. And he finished over 2 and a bit hours ahead of me. So I think you asked me the question, what was his technique like? And I was like, I've got no idea. We were on the start line and he was off. Yeah. I couldn't see what he paddled like once. So yeah, he was dressed and changed and everything for. But in terms of, I'd say once you got through, so there was like, you start and there's about 4 or 5k stretch of canal, and then you go into Loch Lochy. And that was just awesome. Like that was by far and away for me, that was my favourite part of the trip. Now the conditions weren't ideal, there was a fair bit of wind, but wind in that scenario was actually helping you because it was creating movement in the water, so you could actually get a bit of glide, go in and catch a few ripples, all of that sort of stuff. And it just made it a bit more like exciting, and also it was early in the day, felt good, hadn't yet wasted my iron brew, so it was that was definitely the best part, and I'd say by the end of Loch Lochy, so we'd done maybe it was 6k of canal and then 16k of Loch Lochy. What is it? Go on. What is it? Go on.
Nothing. Just stupid. Sorry.
No, please. You've got to share.
No.
Okay. Were you going to ask if your pre-match advice and words of wisdom was any help at that?
Oh right. No.
We'll come on to that later.
No, we won't. Yeah.
So by the end of Loch Lochy, which is, let's say, 20 odd K into the event, you'd kind of found your people that you were most likely going to be in or around throughout the journey, sort of thing, yeah? And I was with a couple of paddlers and 2 kayakers, and a guy in an open canoe, and you sort of flit in and out because it's quite nice. You sort of, there's moments where you're sort of really feeling it, you're into a really good rhythm, you really get going, and you might sort of surge off, and then you sort of wane a little bit and on the go slow for a little while, and so you sort of find yourself back and forth in a little bit, and then it's only really after Fort Augustus, which is like halfway, and then it's just Loch Ness for pretty much the rest of it, plus another 10k of canal. And I'd say that is like Loch Ness is where you start to become more isolated. Now I was really lucky that I entered Loch Ness with that group of people that sort of described, and then we sort of all took slightly different routes across the loch. Like I sort of went straight down the middle, kayakers came down the middle. There's another 2 paddlers that sort of went off to the sort of, what would be the sort of the right hand side of it, and then the open canoe sort of hugged the coast on the left hand side of it. So we all started like finding our own path across that, which started then separating us all off. And I sort of ended up with the 2 kayakers, and I sort of purposely then like wanted to stay close because about halfway across Loch Ness, like I'd drunk all my water, and I knew that was going to become a big problem. And then, a little while later it became a really big problem. But fortunately they were nearby and was able to shout to them, and one of them basically threw me, they're in a kayak, they're carrying everything. So they threw us a bottle of orange juice or something, which basically got me to the end of the loch where I could then replenish. Lessons learned.
Cool.
But the camaraderie thing, and it's actually part of the organisation. Like it's explicitly said, if a paddler is in need of help, you help that paddler. Yeah. If you are worried about your time as a consequence of that, they do like redress of it. So if you stopped and went back a bit to help a paddler and weren't, they'd give you those 10-15 minutes back or whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what would your advice be for someone who's looking to do it next year? Your top 5 or things for anyone out there listening and want to do the Great Glen Challenge
well,
next year?
the first one's easy. Train. Do some actual training for it.
Did you notice how nice I was not mentioning that?
Yeah, well, but it's it's the truth. I think we're on the water nearly every day, and we have been through summer, but it's just a very different beast and thing that you're dealing with. It's we're not paddling around the marina helping people stand up, and it's I should have dedicated time to training for it, absolutely, and I did not, and I felt that as a massive consequence, like big consequence of it.
So train for it.
Train for it.
Good advice.
Yeah. I would say ahead of so my main thing would be train for it, pack appropriately, like carry shit on your board, just do it. Don't be an idiot like me and try and do like minimalism on a paddleboard. Doesn't work. Those would be my 2 main things, to be honest. I think if you get those 2 right, and then there's other little things that I would say, like arrive a day early. Arrive a day early, just because it's certainly if you're coming from Northern Ireland where we are, it's a long drive, and you just need to get out and stretch and not feel like you're rushing around, quite frankly. Have time, acclimatise, get to know the area. You could even, it's a 2-hour drive from end to end, right? So, if you arrive a day early, you can effectively drive it, and you can stop and look at some of the lights. And I like that would have, that's one of my biggest failings was not understanding the course enough. So, they provided a really good booklet, all the information you needed. I did. I read it. I definitely read it. Glance. No, I just didn't. And the thing that irks me, and I think this is what, I just didn't. I didn't pay the whole thing enough respect. Like that's just the reality. And I've come away from it personally feeling frustrated and annoyed with myself at that. But I should come, and as everyone's been saying to me, you should come away, it's great, you did it, which is awesome, and that is awesome, and I am pleased you did it. But it's I will be back. I will be back.
Watch this space.
Yeah, no, it's definitely put the bit between my teeth to just get fitter, just train for those things properly, and don't be such a arrogant twat next time.
I think that's really harsh.
I don't think it is. I think that's a fair assessment.
Fair enough.
Yeah, cool. So so just basically, it was awesome. I've just got some personal things that I just want to go back and do it again. And we'll get the team with us over there next year, and we'll smash it. Just loads of really cool things learned. And I am a professional paddler, and even I sort of got I made loads of bad calls and bad judgments on that, but just didn't follow my own advice, and it's super simple. Plan, be prepared for all scenarios, all conditions, and train for it. Go into it knowing what your capabilities and everything really are, where you're at. But it was amazing, and
awesome.
Can't wait to get everyone over there and doing it. And I can't wait to do our own one over here, which is what will be one of the next big things.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Right.
Cool.
Well, congratulations once
No,
again.
cheers, mate. No, thank you, and thank you for your very kind, things that give me, real motivational things to think about as I was paddling. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Did it help?
Massively.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and well done to this guy. Awesome effort.
Cheers. Thanks for holding fort whilst I was away.
I know. That's what I'm here for. But yeah, see you soon, guys, and
Cool.
hit us up on the regular challenge. Boom. See you later.
Soon. Cheers, guys.